Hey everyone, happy full moon in Aries. I'm recording this from Vermont and it is around 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And today is the day of the full moon in Aries, and I've been doing these videos once a month for my business's newsletters. I work for Z Botanicals and Hemp Company. I'm one of the founders. And everything we do, we take into account that everything is connected, and um, the planets and the movement of the planets affect us. And they don't make things happen, but they kind of reflect what is happening. And because the movements are so predictable of the planets, we kind of can get a feel for what the energies of the future will be. And so I usually focus on the astrology of the full moon, but today I'm going to try to talk about just some big transits that are happening in the month of October, including what's going on in the sky today. And I hope that you find it helpful. I think astrology is so helpful, mostly in understanding ourselves. But also in understanding the world and what's happening right now in the world, and kind of making sense of it. I also want to say that take everything that I say and run it through your own filter. And if it doesn't resonate, just throw it out. There's a lot of astrologers out there, and a lot of them say different things. So just take what resonates for you. And I also want to say this year has been really hard. It's been really hard for a lot of people, some more than others. And I just want to just say you're not alone. We're all in this together. And people with specifically strong cardinal placements. So the cardinal signs are Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn, have been getting hit so hard this year. So if you have your sun, your ascendant, your moon, or a stellium, which is like 3 or 4 or more planets in one of those signs, you probably can relate to what I just said. And I'm one of those, so I know what you're going through, and my heart goes out to you. With that being said, oh, and if you are interested in a chart reading, please reach out to me. They're very helpful to know how upcoming transits may affect you, or even to look at your past and see like what was going on in the sky when certain things happened. All right, so moving forward, today is the full moon in Libra. It's actually an Aries full moon. The moon is in Aries at 9 degrees, and the sun is exactly opposing it in Libra at 9 degrees. And with every full moon, there's a little bit of a tension because the sun is shining directly onto the moon, and the moon is reflecting directly back to the sun. And the sun is our primal life force, and the moon is often represents our bodies and our emotions and the way we feel. So the moon is in Aries, which is it's a fire sign, and it's a cardinal fire sign. So it's all about initiation and really wanting to feel into how we're feeling personally, and our personal beliefs and our personal opinions, and really looking at the world from our own point of view. But the sun is in Libra, which is a sign that really likes balance and cooperation, and hearing the other out, and it's a sign of justice. So right now we're with this full moon, it's all coming to a head. This energy, a full moon energy, is like it's at its kind of highest peak. So it can feel a little tense, and we're kind of looking at our own beliefs and feelings with what's going on in the world, and how to balance that with other people's beliefs and feelings, and justice, and I think everyone listening to this can probably resonate with that. So that's the full moon piece. The really interesting thing is Chiron, which is our wherever Chiron is in your birth chart, often shows you where you've been wounded and where through that wound you can heal yourself and then start to begin to heal others. Chiron in the sky right now is at 7 degrees Aries, conjunct the moon by 2 degrees. So I really feel like, again, people aren't going to be surprised. A lot of our wounds are coming up, and the light of the sun is being shined on them, and we can feel them really strongly because it's so connected to the moon. Our individual wounding is coming up right now, and I believe it's a really good opportunity to deal with our own personal wounds so that it in turn can help the collective. I believe that's actually one of the most powerful things we can do, is to transform ourselves. And it's kind of the only thing we really do have control over. And if everyone did their own personal work, I think the world would look very different. So I think that's a very powerful piece of information, having Chiron conjunct the moon during this full moon tonight. Some other interesting things going on in the sky is Scorpio at 4 degrees, almost 5 degrees in, Mercury in Scorpio at almost 5 degrees is opposing Uranus, who's at 9 degrees. And so I keep waiting. This month in general, there's going to be a lot of Uranus aspects, and Uranus is all about revolution and surprise, and things that you didn't think could happen happening. And I'm interested to see, Taurus is in the sign, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen, if there's going to be an earth change, if we're going to, because Mercury is all about ideas and communication, and Mercury in Scorpio often is about finding out secrets, secrets being revealed, truth coming out, truth around power, and things that people don't feel comfortable talking about. So that's something that's really interesting that's happening during this full moon, and it's going to continue to happen as Mercury moves through Scorpio. So I'm interested to see what happens there. Comments if anyone sees something in the news that kind of relates to that. I would love to hear it. Venus, moving on, is at 28 degrees of Leo, and she is trining Mars, which Mars is still in Aries and will be until, I believe, January of 2021. And Mars is extremely strong in Aries. He rules Aries, but he's in retrograde right now. So he's still powerful when he's in retrograde in Aries, but it's a lot of internal work. And a lot of internal frustration happening. So wherever Aries is in your chart, check it out. Like I have Aries in my 10th house, which is my house of work, and kind of being in the public eye. And I had a lot of personal things come up that took me away from my work and caused a lot of tension for me. And I'm raring to move forward right now, but there's still some things that I need to work out so I can really focus on work again. So that's an example of Mars retrograde. Let me see. So I'll come back to Venus and the Mars trine, but Mars retrograde is squaring Saturn during this full moon. And some really important information is Mars, starting in August, would have made, by January, make 3 exact squares to Saturn, and I believe Pluto too, but I'm really focused on the Saturn ones. So the first square And square means tension. So they're often uncomfortable periods, difficult periods, but it varies how difficult they are. But we need squares, or we would never change and grow and evolve. So the first square happened at the end of August at 26 degrees Aries, squaring Saturn and Capricorn at 26 degrees. The second one happened on September 29th at 25 degrees Aries and 25 degrees Capricorn. And then the final one's going to happen on January 12th in Taurus. Mars will be in Taurus at 2 degrees, squaring Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius at 2 degrees. And that'll be the end of the square. So the opening of the square happened in August. Like wherever Aries and Capricorn are in your chart, something maybe tense came up at the end of August, and that was the beginning. The second square was kind of the height of the tension. And then the third square is kind of going to be how we resolve it moving forward when they've entered new signs. I felt that so intensely. I saw that coming. I had no idea what it was going to look like. I kind of tried to guess, and it for me, it was exactly what I would assume Mars squaring Saturn is, but I could never have fathomed it. So I say that because sometimes as humans, especially people that know a little bit about astrology, you could see something coming and it could bring you so much fear or so much joy and excitement. And astrology is really not that great a predictive tool. It's great to talk about what's happening in the moment, look at the past, this is my opinion, look at our personalities and what we came here to do and focus on in the world. But I think most of us have too much trauma and to really be able to see the future until we actually experience it. That's a little side note. More about Mars. The big squares that are happening is huge, and we're going to really be feeling them for the rest of the year. But Mars is also conjunct Aries, which a lot of astrologers call her the planet of discord. I look at her as like a pattern breaker, karma breaker, really breaking stuff up so we can start something new. And she's a feminine asteroid, and she's also conjunct Black Moon Lilith, and so is Mars. And Black Moon Lilith to me is like the raw feminine energy, so like creative and tap with emotions, like deep dark emotions, like she's like the great cosmic feminine void that like no one wants her to like unleash her power, but she isn't she's traditionally been feared, but that was stories that the patriarchy made up, because she is just so powerful. And again, she's conjunct Mars, and Aries is conjunct Mars, which is, you know, all about like drive, moving forward, passion. It could be about war. Mars and Aries is all about like defending oneself and one's beliefs and taking action for those things. And we can see that happening now, but the whole Mars square Saturn thing is like slamming on the gas in your car while at the same time pulling up the e-brake. It's so frustrating. Like we want to move forward, we want to make change, but we're just like forced to slow down because of the structures that like have already been in place that are like breaking down but not quick enough. It's just it's there's a lot happening. Mars is also exactly opposing Haumea. Actually, let me see if I can share. I had a chart I wanted to share. Let's see. There we go. Hopefully you're able to see that right now. So this is Aries right here. And you can see Chiron and the moon conjunct. And then you can see Eris at 24 degrees conjunct Mars at 24 and Black Moon Lilith at 27. And there they are, that little power group squaring Saturn and Pluto and eventually, oh my goodness, why Jupiter. So also Mars is opposing Haumea, and I put her in there. Haumea is a Hawaiian goddess, and ultimately she's a dwarf planet, and she is all about nature and the connection to source. And I just find it so interesting that there she is in Libra, which is all about the balance and working with the other and diplomacy and fairness and justice. And I do think all of this is connected to the earth and how we're going to move forward. So there's an opposition there, like what I want and what's like the other wants and what's good for the earth. It's all making like perfect sense, and I hope I'm explaining this well. So one of the positive things happening is the trine between Venus right here and Mars. So a trine is amplification. It's an easy transit. It flows very easily. And Venus is at her last degrees of Leo, where she is kind of like, look at me, and has a lot to say and likes to take the spotlight. And they're you know, Mars and Venus were lovers, and they're working really well together right now, just for a few days. So we might feel a little relief from the craziness from that. But she's moving so quickly, and soon she'll be into Virgo. So a couple other things I really want to talk about, and I try to make these videos quick, but and give you enough information that you can look into your own chart and see how it's affecting you. But Saturn stationed direct on Tuesday, last Tuesday, I believe it was the 29th, at 25 degrees, and that's when the exact square between Mars happened. So Saturn has been in Capricorn for a long time, for a few years, and has been going back and forth. And he is on, this is the last time he'll be at 25 degrees for many, 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 many years. He's finally going to start to make his way out into Aquarius, which will happen on the winter solstice. And cardinal people like me are so happy that Saturn is moving on. And he, you know, a lot of people say a lot of negative things about Saturn, and it's true. Like, he rules time. The whole reap what you sow thing is Saturn. But, you know, it's sometimes we sow beautiful things. Like, if you think about, you know, all the seeds that you plant, and then the hard work of actually taking care of them, and the discipline. Hard work and discipline is totally Saturn. But what happens when it's harvest season and you have this beautiful fruit that's going to last you through the winter? That is your reward. And Saturn makes you work hard, and he holds you accountable. But if you actually show up and do the work, he rewards you. And I felt that personally in my life with Saturn. And so Saturn moved direct, and I'm actually happy he's moving direct. So again, it's more action oriented now, and less like internal. So now we get to move forward with changing the structures. And wherever that shows up in your chart is going to be different. And collectively, I'm hoping that we start to change the structures of our governments and corporations and everything, even though it's going to be a long, slow process. Pluto is going to turn direct on Sunday the 4th at 22 degrees. So look where that is in your chart. And again, whenever planets station to turn retrograde or direct, that's like when they're the closest to the earth and they're the strongest energy. So Pluto is all about transformation, and he likes to help people and areas of people's life to transform by taking them into very uncomfortable places. And it's like no one would ever choose to follow Pluto. You don't have a choice when Pluto is affecting your chart. But once you're on the other side, you're such a changed person, you would never want to go back. So I'm interested to see how Pluto moving direct is going to affect people on the 4th. Again, people with cardinal placements. And let me see, another interesting thing is Mercury stationing retrograde on the 13th of October, which I believe is Friday the 13th. I have to check it out though. And at 11 degrees Scorpio. And then it's gonna go all the way back to 25 degrees Libra. We've already been there. So it'll be interesting to kind of relive the things we've been talking about again. And Mercury is going to turn direct on election day on 11/3. Again, so Mercury is stationing on election day, which means its energy is going to be the strongest because it's closest to the Earth. And the last time that Mercury stationed on election day was in 2000, when there was all that questioning of the ballots and the counting machines, and it had to go to the Supreme Court for us to call the president, who the president was. And I just find it interesting that it's happening again, and we already have a lot of signs that there's going to be kind of confusion. So I'm just hoping for the best. It's going for direct on the 3rd, and yeah, just do everything you can to make sure your vote is clearly submitted. If you can go in person safely, I would suggest doing that. And if you are mailing in your ballot, I would do it ASAP. And yeah, so that is the update. Again, I hope this is helpful, and I would love to hear your comments or questions and experiences. And thank you so much for watching, sending you so much love. We're what, 3/4 of the way through 2020? We can make it, we're almost there. Bye.